Does Final Fantasy give you a boner? Then this is the podcast for you. Join Caleb's beefy, meaty voices, fuck by your pussy for ultimate pleasure. The guys give honest reviews and don't engage in too much fanboy wankery. Keep rocking Irvine's assless chaps, fellas. You guys rock.
From Provo, Utah, this is the Ultimate Final Fantasy Podcast with your hosts, Joseph DeGolier and Caleb Schwein.
Yeah!
This is Ultima Final Fantasy.
Welcome to another episode of Ultima Final Fantasy, the ultimate inequality Final Fantasy podcast. I am your host, Caleb.
What do you mean by inequality?
Inequality.
Oh, inequality.
Yeah, we are equal here.
Inequality. God
Right.
damn it. You can't say it. You can't have the word in before equality. Or else it's going to sound like
Fine.
inequality.
The ultimate PC podcast. How about that?
The ultimate PC...
Well, here's why.
All right, my name is Joe, by the way. Go ahead.
This week, we're going to be doing the second version of the pinup contest. Long ago, when the show was much less streamlined and way more open and just an orgy of whatever we wanted.
Okay.
Mostly food, I would assume, at the time.
I feel like it is still that way.
Kinda, but we are more
And we
structured.
hide it under jingles.
Yeah, the jingles are what we acknowledge as structure.
Yeah, that's what we acknowledge as structure. And we get a lot of the non-Final Fantasy talk out of the way through Nude Clan.
That's true, yeah. That's kind of what Getting Fat used to be. It used to be okay, let's talk about everything that's not Final Fantasy now, so that we can just talk about Final Fantasy.
Uh-huh.
But there was a time where we did a pinup girl contest for the podcast. And of course, Quistis was our champion. I wish I could go back and see Beatrix then. I would have made it Beatrix, I believe, but who knows.
Mm.
But today, I have decided it's time to do the other half of the spectrum. We're going to do the ultimate pinup guy contest today.
Yeah.
Final Fantasies 1 through 15. We're going to go through the men that I have selected personally.
Oh,
There's a
I would
bunch.
like to also say that you also selected to do this episode.
It's true, I did.
So, I don't know, Caleb. I think you might be harboring some things
Yeah,
inside of an old closet.
I hate to disappoint, Joe, but this is purely because I didn't want to watch another one of those episode blah blah blahs for FF7 today. I was thinking about it and I was like, I just don't want to do that right now. I don't.
Not right now.
No, after the last one, like, oh yeah.
Episode depression.
Yeah, episode Fuck the Game, Love on Advent Children is what they should have called it. Because it continued the emo Cloud instead of the, like Cloud from 7, the slightly dickish, whatever Cloud. So, that's what we're going to be doing today. Before we get into too much of that, where are you in Final Fantasy XI?
Before we get into too much of that, I want to say that some picks just went through, and I did beat Dylan at our fantasy movie league.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice!
I didn't beat you, though. You're still in second place.
What? I'm in second?
Yeah. JJ's Cineplex is first, you're second, I'm third, and
God!
Dylan is fourth. So my research on what movies are going to make what, it pulled through. I know this has nothing to do with Final Fantasy, but it did just come through, and I want to share that now. And I feel good.
That fucking James. God, why him? That's alright. I can lose 1 week to him.
Okay. Final Fantasy XI.
Yes, where are you?
Now...
Join Fantasy Movie League, too. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. You have been playing a lot this week, and I've been playing kind of only a little, and I played a few hours yesterday, and I'm going to play some more tomorrow. But we did get through all the Inframurders, all those stopping points.
Yeah.
We got through a very tough battlefield that took quite a few tries, and we had to get Crinitol on in order to take care of it.
Yeah, we didn't have the power to do it ourselves.
No, it was a rough battle, and so I'm a little concerned with the battles coming up later on. But until then, I think I'm in like the late part, or I'm in like 3.6, which is kind of like the last little run of part 3 of
Right.
5 in Secrets of a Duelin, and I believe you're in early part 4.
Yeah, I'm like almost to 4.3, which is the next dungeon fight.
Okay.
I've been running quite a bit of cutscenes and just keeping up on my impermaturs spending because
we don't have any more blocks.
we don't, but the bailed is useful. Did you go to those shops?
I saw the shops. I looked at them. I looked at the sword first, and I went, "Oh, I have a better sword anyway," and then I just went away. But I know they're there.
The armor is better than everything I had.
Was it?
Yeah, every item I was wearing, and the axe too.
Huh.
I didn't buy an axe from the marketplace. Did you? Did you buy your sword from like the? Did you buy it from the Records of Eminence guy, or did you buy it from?
I got the special Record of Eminence thing where I got the really big, nice pieces of armor and equipment.
Oh, was that at the end of?
Yeah, the very end of all that shit.
Are you sure it's not better? Like, did you check the next pages?
I'm sure that the sword I looked at is not better.
Okay.
But in the weapon I've been using, and I know it's like a 3rd tier weapon for Red Mage, but since I've been using it, it's just like
you're powerful in it. Yeah, so you can't go back.
I've been using swords, and that was the sword that had Red Mage that I saw first, and it wasn't as good. So I'm not sure. There might be the dudes who sell with Bald that are better. Bald is a currency, by the way. But I haven't explored it thoroughly yet. I just saw what they were, and I was getting a freaking sinus headache playing this game yesterday, so I didn't play more than like 3 hours.
Yeah, I actually spent all of my Bald on items in the game. I bought a bunch of maps first, which was kind of, I don't know, not 100% necessary because we have Windower, but it is easier to pull up the full map and look at it there, because sometimes Windower's map like wigs out on you, and it zooms in like a shitload.
Yeah, when you can zoom right out.
Yeah, you can, but it's not as useful for me.
Okay.
Like it is when I'm just doing a quick glance, like, oh, okay, I need to get up here. But if I'm like really looking at the map, I prefer to pull up the actual one.
I haven't had a problem yet.
Yeah.
With Windower, yeah.
I don't know. I like the big ones more sometimes. For the most part, though, I do just use the little Windower map. So I picked up a bunch of those, and then I upgraded all of my equipment. Everything is better. My attack went from plus 90 from items and equipment to plus 110, I think. And I'm doing a little more damage. Everything looks cooler. I look like in a Duelin.
That's good.
When in a Duelin, do as the Duelins do, right?
I would say we're both. I mean, we're in 3 of 5, or the beginning of 4 of 5. But
yeah.
4 is fucking long.
It is.
So we're both about halfway through Seekers of a Duelin, with no blockades that we know of in the way.
Yeah.
Except for maybe, I think there's one item quest which you had troubles with.
Yeah.
And then some boss fights, which, if anything like our last ones, may give us trouble in the future. But that means that Seekers of a Duelin and an FF11 wrap-up episode, the final... what do we got? Like a funeral for 11 or some sort of it'll be soon, I think.
4 expansions and a funeral or something like that.
Yeah, well, we got 4 expansions and a funeral. We actually have Rhapsodies left.
We do, yes.
That'll be like one day.
I would also like to give a shout out to a player in FF11. I was out there shouting, looking for people to help me craft this item because I ran across a quest that required one of 4 things, or 5. There were 5 options that were randomly chosen by the quest, by the algorithm or whatever. And of course, it picked the one that I had to craft to get. And I don't craft because I'm not disgusting, and I didn't have a million hours to donate. So I reached out to everybody. I called out. I was like, hey, do you craft? Hey, do you do this? Do you do that? Do you do this? Do you do that? And finally, this guy named Tenev said, yes, I will craft this for you. It was actually him on another account. He had like 3 accounts. It was crazy. And I don't know how he was playing with all of them, but he's like, trade it to this guy. And I traded it to him, and he's like, it's actually me, but just trade it to him, and I'll make you the item. And he did, and then I went and just did the quest.
What?
Yeah, it took me an hour, though, to find someone.
It took us longer when we were looking for an alchemist.
That's true.
Yeah.
The alchemist was much worse. But I do feel like if we pick this up, I mean, we can get through this FF11 in the next few weeks, I would say.
Yeah, I would give it 2 or 3 weeks.
Because we can do Rhapsodies, like you said. We can just do an 11 marathon and do Rhapsodies. I think.
When do we want to? Do we want to do a marathon tomorrow? I'm behind you, so it's kind of a pain. But
If we can get Crinitol on board, yeah, we should do a marathon.
okay.
And that way we have 3 of us to do the
This
battle.
is like the only days that I'm playing 11 are on Friday and Sunday, and I did not get enough time on Friday.
Yeah, I might have to cancel plans and just do a marathon. I want to get through this game so
I
bad.
don't need you to cancel plans for it.
They're tentative plans. They're tentative.
Oh, okay.
Especially now. Now they're definitely
Oh, all right.
because we need to get through 11.
We need to get through 11 so that I can have my life back.
Yeah, and I want to
Friday or Sunday.
and you'll be able to play 12.
Yeah, I can play Revenant Wings on the fucking train, which I ride 4 hours a day. So, like, there's time to fill.
Oh yeah.
And I can't play 11 on the train just on a whim. I have to, set up my entire 11 viewing experience because it's on my PC.
You're right.
Which is another reason, it's kind of another reason why I still have consoles, is because I like sitting on the couch. Like, sitting on the couch
Is your thing.
is my thing, or like sitting on my bed, but sitting on that fucking terrible office chair playing the PC game is always kind of rough.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm ready. I'm ready to put 11 behind me. Did you know Limit Break? Actually, I haven't listened to the episode yet. Limit Break Radio, our friends over there, they actually did an 11 episode recently.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Like an 11, like a goodbye to 11 or something like
So
that.
they finally did it, huh? They finally did their "Hey, we're not doing 11 anymore" podcast. Because you said they just kind of stopped, right?
They just kind of stopped with 11.
Yeah.
And then started up on 14 like a year later or something like that.
Right.
We had an interview with the guy.
Right. Yeah. So it's weird, but Nero finally got him to do it.
I'm not sure if it was a Nero who was talking about it when I read the description, but
oh, okay. Well, one of them at least.
some of the hosts went back, played the rest of 11, and then had a.
Oh yeah, I remember. Escalia said he was running a couple of them through some content, and I guess that must have been what it was. They finished it finally.
Must have been.
Wow. Only a little bit before us.
So before we get to some news, you can check us out at youtube.com/ultimatefinalfantasy, facebook.com. Sorry, I got a cold. /ultimatefinalfantasy. You can support us on Patreon. $1 a month gives you the episodes as soon as we're done mixing them.
Yes. We owe some episodes, so please, God.
Yeah,
tell us when we can.
Tell us your availability.
Yes,
we owe you an episode. Twitch.tv/ultimatefinalfantasy. And you can tweet me at Joseph DeGollier.
Me at UFF Podcast.
And last but not least, our website, ultimatefinalfantasy.com, which, by the way, Shinru is now posting news every Friday for the week. And so if you want to get some more FF news, that's the place to do it. We also pull news from Shinru, so thank you very much, Shinru, for what you do as far as the news is concerned. Please join our forums. Just go to ultimatefinalfantasy.com, click forums, and you're going to be there. Let's get to some news.
Well, first, though, we want to plug the phone line that was preciously used today. This is a rarity for us. Please give us a call at 385-204-3921. That's 385-204-3921. All right, so joyfully today we have another trailer.
Oh God!
I can never get tired of the trailers. I'll tell you.
What do we have a trailer for?
This one looks like it's going to be a trailer for the beloved World of Final Fantasy.
Another trailer.
I know how.
World of Final Fantasy.
I know how excited you are about this.
I'm so excited twice.
I know.
I realize you're having problems with the window, and that's why it's taking a little while.
No, it's fine. We're cool, bro. We're cool.
Yeah, I know. We're cool. I'm cool.
All right, man. You ready to see another chibi-filled trailer?
Yes.
All right, let's watch it.
It's going to be rated E10.
Ooh, let's turn that down. All right, so we got some chibi kind of dudes. These guys actually... No, this isn't the chibi one. Sorry. No, it is. Jesus.
Who's not chibi?
Okay, they're not chibi.
Okay,
they're just anime.
Okay, they're still like kiddie anime.
Right, yeah. Okay.
Straight up anime.
Yeah, we went into an anime section. I wonder if that's going to be part of the game.
Are those going to be the cutscenes? Did they just did they decide that the CGI cutscenes were too expensive and they had to do this?
Maybe. I mean, the game is supposed to be insanely long, so I think that might be part of it.
So, yeah, that was kind of a little tiny teaser. Just had a few moments from the game. Didn't look like much gameplay was in that trailer, but
Yeah, but whatever. What can you do?
So it's like October when that's coming out, right?
Yeah, something like that. I don't know, dude. I've thought about pre-ordering some of these newer ones, but I just don't want to throw out the money for them.
I did pre-order 15.
Yeah.
The deluxe.
Oh, I don't need to.
Shut up.
I actually do need to buy my own copy because that's an Xbox One version that he said he's going to send me. So I'm basically going to have Dwayne buy the good version for PS4, and then we'll just trade. Is what'll happen.
Okay.
All right,
It's
so
still fucking awesome.
I know it is sweet, and I thank you for that. World of Final Fantasy also is adding snow to its cast. So if you couldn't get enough of them in Final Fantasy 13, hit up that World of Final Fantasy.
Sarah. That is October 27th.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do a Sarah count for this game as well. I did that for a while in 13, and it got to like over 100, and I wasn't even halfway done. It was crazy.
You know, I haven't. I know it's been a while. We probably brought this up earlier, but Jurassic Park: The Lost World. There needs to be like a montage of all the Sarahs in Jurassic Park: The Lost World, mixed with all the Sarahs from Final Fantasy 13. And if there's another piece of media that had a shitload of people calling out the name Sarah, we should also have that in there.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
The Sarah.
Sarah.
I bet you we could.
That's what it'll sound like.
We could probably do some Terminator. The Sarah Connor.
I don't know. Is anybody ever calling out for her?
No, it's more, they normally just use her full name because they're robots most of the time. So
Okay.
like Sarah Connor.
Sarah
Yeah.
Connor. Yeah.
We could just do the Sarah part. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe. We'll look into it.
We definitely will. So, there's another trailer for Mobius Final Fantasy. It highlights the addition of the co-op multiplayer mode to the English version on today's update. Of course, there's another trailer, but it's a mobile
Mobius
game.
is already out. So if you want to see the new trailer for Mobius Final Fantasy, you can.
Google it. So apparently they had a poll. This is kind of a weird offshoot of the news that Shinru posted, but I kind of think it's cool. It's a poll from September 7th, 2016, and it asks, from GameFAQs actually, sorry, and it asks, how many times have you played and beaten Final Fantasy VII? The options are more than 10 times, between 5 and 9 times, 2 to 4, just once, that was good enough for me. I've started playing it but never beaten it. I've never played Final Fantasy VII, not once.
Oh my god, out of 20,000 votes.
Yes.
Jesus.
The number one was between 2 and 4 times, which I believe is accurate for you and I as well.
It is accurate for you and I, yeah.
I think I've beaten it 3 times, and I think you're around that too.
3 times as well, yeah.
The second placed one is never played Final Fantasy VII, not once. And then the third place, coming in at 21% of the votes, is I've started playing it but never beaten it. So, cool.
That is awesome. Wow. If only like all 20,000 of those people were like, have you ever heard of Ultima Final Fantasy?
I know, and then it would have been,
Ultimate Final Fantasy podcast.
and then it would have been like, totally. Who hasn't, right? So there's another little bit of Final Fantasy XIV news. Apparently it's a nice little preview of its upcoming main scenario quests and a new dungeon. So they're coming out with a new patch. It looks like
September 27th. They're
Yeah,
coming up with a new patch. So I got something with this. So it's not Final Fantasy 14, but it is Final Fantasy 11. There was an update last week. And you know what it does for us, Schweiss?
What's that?
It allows us to ride mounts in many of the areas that we couldn't ride mounts in the week before.
Oh, cool.
So if you're in an area of Seekers of Adullin,
Oh, wait, whoa, Seekers?
yeah,
What?
in the Seeker areas, you can ride mounts. In many of them. I think there was 1 or 2 that I wasn't able to ride a mount in the other day, but I was able to ride mounts in the other ones.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is crazy. So the 2 new dungeons that they're adding are called Zelfatal and the Great Kubal Library, which is a hard dungeon. They both require an item level of at least $210
Oh, what?
to enter. I think mine's like 120 or some shit. That's sick.
In what? In 14 or
In
11?
14. In 11, mine's like 111. Mine sucks in 11. So yeah, that's cool. If you guys want to hear more about that, I'm sure Limit Break Radio went crazy over it. And let's see. Apparently, Final Fantasy XV's Platinum Demo and Kingsglaive are getting free OSTs for PlayStation Plus users in Japan.
Where's our free Kingsglaive?
Yeah, where's our soundtrack? So that's cool. If you're in Japan, hit that up. You got a nice little original soundtrack. Looks like it has six tracks from the demo, and it will be available to PlayStation Plus subscribers in Japan starting September 13th. So only a few days away. You'll need to download an app for the soundtrack, which apparently also comes with some visuals for the demo. So it's not just for that. And here's some nice little visuals they got here. Looks like the track listing for Kingsglaive is quite a bit longer. We've got at least 22 songs. Cool. So if you're in Japan, enjoy, and thanks a lot, Square. We don't need it.
Some more screenshots like we talked about last week. We have more guns and stuff from Final Fantasy 15, which we didn't even think we were getting guns until last week for this game. So that's really cool, actually, because most of the time with Final Fantasy games, except for 12, you pretty much had a certain type of weapon with the character that you had.
Yeah.
And so we thought we were going to get the same thing with Noctis and all the rest of them, but it looks like Noctis can in fact have a useful weapon.
Yeah, it's looking like this first picture we have here is Noctis holding a revolver. So Noctis is a big fan of Red Dead Redemption, I would assume.
Oh, okay.
There's another one where he's holding this big-ass rifle, and you can go into a snipe mode, apparently. That is cool. You can just hunt animals. Now, is this Final Fantasy-esque? Maybe not, but...
Oh, there's hunts.
There are hunts, but this
is supposed to be like a quasi-modern Final Fantasy.
That's true. This one, it looks like he's holding the BFG, some sort of massive weapon. Circular saw. That's disturbing.
Oh, wow. I would love it to be in like Doom mode. You could turn up the blood level in 15.
So that's cool. Look forward to that if you guys are into the realism that Final Fantasy 15 is supposed to bring us, which of course I am. It's still weird to me, though. It's weird to accept something like that. I don't know. It's been so long since we've had guns. So there is a new Final Fantasy 15 interview out where the director, our friend, Hajime Tabata, talks about improvements on frame rate, the map, the DLC, weapons, and a bunch of more stuff. It's
I assume this comes out of the... they're putting the game back and doing an update, or they want a better day one release of the game.
Yeah. So the first question that came up that I was interested in is the interviewee asked, could you talk in more detail about the improvements the team is doing to the master version that was recently showcased? And Hajime said, you won't really see a huge difference from Gamescom today because it's only 2 weeks since then. So the build that we have here has been improved slightly, but the biggest difference is that you have a bit more freedom in steering while driving.
Oh.
That is one of the biggest changes you'll see on the build that's going to be available today, is what he was saying.
Okay.
So I guess there were some mechanics with that were running into problems. And yeah, I'm not going to read this whole interview.
It's a big interview, and I haven't read it, so I want to get into that soon. But it is such a big game. And it seems like most of the development was in the last 2 years, like the biggest chunk of it. So
yeah, and
I'm surprised that they don't have more problems. Like if they're willing to release a game by now.
Yeah, the way I look at it is the same way as Final Fantasy 13, where they came out with a demo and they basically built the game based on the demo. So these guys they're really good at what they do when they're doing it. But it's like the saying that. Idle hands at the devil's workshop. Like, they're just dicking around for years, right? And then finally they're like, okay, we need to make a game. So they make the game. That's what they did with FF13, right? They made the demo, and then they built the game on the demo in like 5 months, 6 months,
yeah,
something like that. Less than a year.
Like that.
And the thing was in development for way longer than that. So I assume it's something kind of like that, but we just multiply it by about 3-ish. So it's going to be 3 times as long to create the game.
You know,
because
that's
it's been out
interesting. I
forever.
think, yeah, you're probably right that that's what they were doing. And how long did that thing come out? Like a year ago, maybe? That demo?
Yeah,
Disgaea?
yeah, it's been a while.
Now, I do think they had more planned in Disgaea than the 13 guys had before the demo for 13 came out.
Yeah, and what we've been
I believe so.
what we've
from
been
what we were
seeing kind of proves that too.
But that is kind of concerned. Like, shouldn't they need to change how they develop that?
Yeah, it seems really.
Maybe do like a series of in-house demos and decide upon what the game should be.
Right.
If I guess, if they got a release schedule though, they're probably put under a lot of pressure.
Well, especially after 9 years of developing Versus 13.
Yeah, no, fucking what? What?
So I assume it's kind of a big deal to get the
Can
game
you believe that 8? I think Final Fantasy 8 took 2 years of development. Maybe like it wasn't even that much.
Yeah, all of the first 6, I think, were a year.
Yeah.
Maybe a little more than a year.
They were. Now 2 was kind of rushed, and so.
Yeah, 2 I think came out less than a year.
Yep.
It was
It
like
came
one
out
day, less than a year from 1.
Yeah.
Which is nuts. Like, and it's still a good game. Like, it still works. It's got its problems, obviously, but it's crazy how long it's become. It's been this lumbering beast for so many years. I mean, 12 to 13, that's 3 years.
I don't even think 10 took that long to make, though.
No, 10 from 9 to 10 was like a year and a half, 2 years maybe. I think.
Yeah, in release time. I don't know how long. Like, I think they announced all the games at the same time. Like 9, 10, and 11, they announced all at the same time.
Yeah.
And they had been working on 9 for a long time, but 10, I don't think they had actually been. I don't think 10 was that rushed of a development.
They just did it?
Like, I think it was only. They must have only been in development for maybe 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, which is pretty nuts for as good of a game as 10 is.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm looking at this thing. It's like, obviously, the time for development, there's something to do with like what exactly they're trying to accomplish.
Right. The longer you're developing something, the longer you're working on it, I feel like
the more bureaucratic.
The more bureaucratic it can be, and it also you can lose focus of your initial point of contact. What you initially wanted to do may be lost over the 9-year span that it took to do it, because everyone's like, oh, well, what about?
And obviously, we had a director switch.
Yeah. What if we do this instead? What if we add guns and we had this snipe function, and like they go into big detail on these offshoots, and sometimes that can pull you away from your initial drive, the initial thing you wanted to accomplish with the game. Now, we don't know if that's done that, and we will never know.
I love the demo, and if the game is anything like the demo, then I'm going to be happy with the game as far as the gameplay is concerned. So, you know what? I don't know. Like, I'm concerned that they seem to have rushed it, like they did with 13.
Yeah.
Then again, it's still not as rushed as 13, because 13 was like 7 months or something.
13 is not a bad game either.
I don't think 13 is a bad game in any sense, and really it only pales when it's in comparison to something.
Yeah. Like other games.
There's many aspects of 13. Other Final Fantasies, it has some issues with, I think, story that are the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And as far as extra content. And of course, we talked about that in the 13 review, but yeah, I don't know. I'm still holding out for 15, and I'm way more excited for 15 than I am for World of Final Fantasy.
Well, yeah, I feel like most people are probably in that boat. I don't know though. Let us know if you're.
We've heard other comments.
We have, but it was mostly the Final Fantasy 12 thing. I think that's the one that I saw the most love for. It's the 12.
Which is odd because when we started this podcast, 12 was not loved.
Well,
I don't know. I think time has changed. Times are changing.
Yeah, except for
public opinion is going, oh, it was actually pretty good.
Except for 13. 13's not changed.
No,
yet. 13
has been just everybody, the bottom of everybody's tire tread for this entire time.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to change, but hopefully it becomes one of the early ones that are really rough.
Okay, Schweiss, is it time for us to question our own sexuality?
Yeah, let's do it.
Any Twitch chat?
Yeah, Bandrum says we do owe people some episodes.
I think we owe Bandrum an episode.
We do. Bandrum, let us know when, man.
What's your availability?
We're always willing to hang out with you.
Agent Cajun says, pinup, huh? I nominate Amina from Type 0.
That's probably a girl. This one's not a girl pinup contest. This one's for men.
This is part 2, the part 2 that we've been saying that we would do for a very, very, very long time.
Yeah, like a few years. So.
All right. Let's get it started. You ready?
You know what? Let me see. Let me pull up some music
Weekends,
here.
afternoons after 4 p.m. on his time.
Oh shit! Actually, it might get flagged on Twitch. We'll just do it in post.
Well, we'll get flagged on Twitch.
Doing 70s porn music.
You can find, dude, 70s porn music is not going to be protected by Viacom. I think you'll be all right.
All right. Well, I'm searching for 70s porn music. All right, here we go.
Okay. You just like 3 hours of 70s porn music.
All right, guys, let me know if we get blocked. Okay, Porno Groove, the sound of 70s adult films.
It's only 30 minutes. I'll just start it. Well,
okay. Oh yes. Some of those smooth beats. Welcome to Ultima Final Fantasy Pinup Contest number 2, Bro Hour.
Okay, all right.
We're gonna run this the same way we ran the first one, where we go through each of the series. We pit up the 2 games that are connected to each other in a playoff style format.
Okay.
So it's going to be Final Fantasy 1 contestants versus Final Fantasy 2 contestants.
Who are our contestants for those games?
Well, FF1 we have Garland and the King,
Okay.
which there's very little. FF2 contestants, I would say Furion, Gus, and Yosef.
Yeah. Okay, so FF1, Garland versus the King.
Yep.
What kind of shitty fucking nominations are that?
Look, man, the Red Mage and the other dude characters, the Warrior and shit like that,
Red Mage.
they don't really have a definite presence in the game. They're only if you choose
What about the
those
Dark
classes. I guess we could put the Dark... All right, Dark Elf will go in.
No. Jeez. You know, if the King were some sort of Sean Bean, King Regis character, which it could be, I mean, all we see are some sprites, then I could say that yes, in fact, we could put the King. I don't think Garland is sexy at all.
You don't know what he looks like under there.
And there's something about... I mean, you could say Garland's a bad boy and he sings. He's like a music... Oh, I get it. He's a bad boy. He's like a bad boy musician character, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
I'm going to say Garland for the win of FF1.
You're going to say Garland?
Yeah. Which one are you going to vote for?
I don't know. I was trying to explain the King because I don't want to vote Garland, but then at the same time, Garland has personality. Garland's a bad boy. Garland's musical. He's got to get the chicks in comparison to the King.
Yeah.
Of course, the King is the King.
Yeah, I mean, you remember the King from FF9. You remember, well, at least, yeah, Sid from FF9. He was definitely getting the chicks. And then he got turned into an Oglop port. So, infidelity is a thing in Final Fantasy.
Oh.
That does kind of give you...
Hail the King.
Yeah, it does give you a reason to vote for the King.
All right, I will cede, and we'll go with Garland.
That's disgusting. All right, Garland is the FF1 contestant.
Okay.
FF2, Furion, Guy,
No.
or Joseph.
Oh, I think this is clear here. Joseph is kind of old.
He is.
He's kind of bald. He's like a big tough guy, and I think he'd be a cool dude to hang with. But I don't know if he'll be getting the chicks as much as Furion will be, being the young, handsome warrior character. And of course, we know that Furion was he was almost seduced by a character in Final Fantasy II.
Yeah, he was. He was going to go get it on.
And so I'm going to go ahead and go with Furion is probably our winner for Final Fantasy II. Guy, unfortunately, Gus,
he's too damn
he's
stupid.
I don't think he should be involved in this pinup contest.
He is a ripped dude. He is the muscle man.
Oh, he's huge if you see the Amano artwork.
Yeah. But I remember that thing you put together with every line of his dialogue throughout the game. The guy's an idiot. He's hit his head one too many times throughout
and he like talks to animals.
Yeah, he's kind of a freak.
That's a little weird.
I'm gonna go Furion as well.
Furion, okay.
And between those two, my vote's gonna be Furion.
Oh yeah, Furion I think is the winner for the first block. I think Furion, as far as Final Fantasy 1 and Final Fantasy 2 sexiness goes, and unless you're into like really sexy gay pirates, which it could be, that could be the case with Final Fantasy 1, we don't know. I think Furion is clearly the winner.
All right, so Furion will move on to the next round. Garland is eliminated. We're going to move on to bracket number 2. The Final Fantasy 3 contestants are Ingus, Ark, and Luneth, all children. Just makes this really fucking weird.
You think?
Yes.
You don't want to have the guy that turns into a bird?
Oh, no. I won't do him. That was pretty funny, though. I am Birdman.
Yes.
I believe is the line I had for that guy.
Yeah.
Out of these guys, I don't know. I think Ark is kind of like a weird, sort of nerdy guy. He's the guy I made the white mage because I felt like the girl in the party was more powerful than him, and she was. So I'm gonna say he's the first to get cut from this list.
Yeah, I think Ark's cut. Honestly, Ingus is like a fucking waste.
You think so?
Yeah.
Dude, I made him a tank with 2 fucking shields.
I think it was Ingus, and I could be wrong here. I
He's
think
the
it was
blonde
Ingus
guy.
that took for fucking ever to
It
switch
was.
parties.
It
So
was.
because Ingus is a slow, lazy fuck, I'm gonna go have Luneth, who is very similar to Furion. So we'll see.
Extremely
See what
similar.
happens. Final Fantasy IV contestants are Cecil, of course, Kane, Sid, Yang, Edward, and Edge.
Ooh.
I think Edge is eliminated simply because he's a child.
Well, we never see his face either. So there's that. We can't eliminate Edward because he is kind of a smooth guy, even if he is the douche. He does get the chick in the game.
He does get the chick in the game, but I will tell you, man, he is so not masculine.
And he couldn't keep her alive either. So
unlike Garland, who's super masculine musician, you know, like a I don't know, like a Kurt Cobain.
Yeah.
But Edward is more like a, I don't know, who's that American Idol? What is his name?
I don't know.
Oh fuck. I don't know, I'll think of his name later. I'm gonna eliminate Edward. I say ixnay on the Edward.
Alright, I can second that. I think Edward doesn't belong. Sid I also think doesn't belong. I just thought that'd be a funny one to have since he's very oddly dressed in Final Fantasy IV.
Yeah, I think Sid's out. I'm sorry. So it's really between Yang, super muscular monk dude.
Yeah.
But as we all
Kind
know,
of an older guy though.
As we all know, old monks. I don't think there's too many chicks who dig the old monk type.
You don't think so?
No.
Well, we
I
did
really
read
don't.
1Q84. I think Yang would be perfect for her.
All right. So the one chick in 1Q84, what the fuck was her name?
I don't remember.
The character in the book 1Q84, yeah, like Spalding men.
Yeah. With nice heads.
Yeah, nice heads. So I mean, I guess she would go for him.
But she's
if
not.
If he were played by Vin Diesel, maybe, I don't know. Is Vin Diesel an attractive?
I don't know.
I have no idea.
I can't say I would say that, but I honestly can't be.
I really think it's between Cecil and Kane.
Yeah.
And are we gonna go with the bad boy Kane, or are we gonna go with the heroic Cecil?
Dude, I want to make it Kane.
I think you're right. I think Kane is the winner for that.
And because I
think Cecil's a better person.
Well, definitely.
But I think Kane is clearly the more sexy. He's got that dark, brooding sort of, I don't know.
Right. Until of course the after years.
He's got that mysterious way about him.
Right. All right, man. Well, it is.
Well, that is not. Your fucking choices for Final Fantasy V are ridiculous. We have Bartz versus Galuf, and I think it's clear that Bartz is the winner there.
Oh, come on!
Especially Bartz from the Final Fantasy V movie.
Yeah, that guy's a meat. beast. He's fucking
He's
huge.
a beefcake, is what he is.
I was looking at him like, oh my god, is that the main dude?
Yeah, it's fucking Bart's.
But first, we got to decide between the Final Fantasy III final and Final Fantasy IV final contestant. Lunith or Kain.
No, it's because that's part of the last. Oh yeah, fuck. No, you're right. Lunith versus Kain. Ooh. I think first of all, the music just got awesome.
Yeah, it did. Kain.
Kain.
Come here,
I
big
agree.
boy.
Kain.
We're moving on to the next round. Lunith has been eliminated.
Kain's an adult, so Kain wins.
Yeah, plus Lunith is kind of that silvery-haired every character from the early Final Fantasies, so not digging it.
Final Fantasy V, I think it's obviously hands down Bart's is the sexiest later in the animated movie.
Oh yeah.
I think there's no question. In fact, I think he might be ahead on this one. Now, his name is either Butts or Bart's, and the name Butts/Bart's probably doesn't get you that far.
No. So he's gonna have a hard time against the Final Fantasy VI contestants. Locke, Edgar, Sabin,
Oh fuck, dude.
Cyan, Shadow, and Gao. I'm gonna say Gao is Gao is
Put Gao on there?
Gao is eliminated because he probably hasn't washed his balls ever. Alright.
Oh,
I think Gao's
God.
down because that's disgusting.
Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and say Cyan is a bit too old. I mean,
Okay.
That and he has a ponytail. He's probably balding with a ponytail.
You think so?
Which might be the worst look ever. Now I'm not saying he definitely is balding with a ponytail, but when I imagine what Cyan looks like in full 3D.
An
That's
old
Cyan. That's a fucking
balding
car.
Japanese man with
An old, balding, very muscular Japanese man with a ponytail.
Okay.
Come on. He's gonna be eliminated.
Alright, I agree. Gao and Cyan
As cool as I think Cyan is.
barely have a place on this list. Now it gets a little bit tougher. I feel like Shadow has to be eliminated as well because we never really see him. He is a badass and he does have Interceptor, but it's not like having a cat.
He looks
When you
like
have a big dog,
Looks
it's
like a dark Michelin Man.
yeah, kind of. Yeah.
in the context of the graphics of the game.
All right, so Shadow's out. Now it's getting kind of tough. We have Locke, the standard cookie cutter ladies man.
Okay.
We have Edgar, the suave as fuck heir to the throne, and we have his brother, the ripped as fuck guy who gave up the throne to go get ripped.
All right. So it's an Edward versus what the fuck, Jacob sort of situation here. Versus
Ooh.
Locke.
My first one that I would eliminate on this is probably going to be Locke.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, I think the Locke is the winner.
You really think so?
I really think so. I think he's got that still brooding over his ex-girlfriend thing going on. He's got the awesome headband. Come on, dude. The headbands are in. Headbands are in. He's also extremely muscular, extremely helpful the way he treats Terra.
Yeah.
I think he treats women better than Edgar does.
Edgar!
And I don't think Edgar's a bad boy either. Like, I don't think Edgar has that edge at all. I think he just likes women and he's rich.
Okay, so Edgar, you think he abuses his power to get in the...
I think so, and I think Edward is... I think he laughs at his own jokes. I don't think he's as good as he thinks he is.
So that's me, then. You're saying Edgar is me.
I think it's clearly between Locke and Sabin.
Okay.
And
I can
don't
agree.
know.
I feel like Edgar has got a special place in my heart, but
I'm sure he
those
does.
are good reasons.
Alright.
Those are great reasons.
So now we're looking at Sabin versus Locke. Now,
Sabin seems like the kind of guy who's more into working out and drinking protein shakes than he is the ladies.
Okay, so he might actually not be that into ladies.
I think he might be a vegetable man, because I didn't get any sort of
okay.
sexual desires from Sabin when I
Well,
played this game. And
Were
Locke,
you feeling sexually desirous of Sabin?
well,
or
no.
Okay.
I mean, when he suplexed that train, I mean, I wasn't the only one whose table rose about 6 inches.
Oh, well, I think that I think Sabin has a lot going on for him, but I I don't know how many women respect or don't respect this. Personally, I'm a man and I'm also straight, so this makes this difficult because I don't know. I honestly don't know. But a man who takes his shirt off at every opportunity he has. Douche factor. Is there a douche factor there?
I would say yes. Even though he's a good guy, yes, there is a douche factor.
There's douche factor.
And also, Locke is probably still pretty in pretty good shape, I would imagine. It's more like lean muscle, but he would probably have a really low body fat percentage with all the stealing and running around he does. He would be cut. I feel like it's not always about being this huge. It's true. It's not always about being this big meathead guy. So I think I'm going to second that idea, and I'm going to move Locke on.
See, you were going to eliminate Locke. Look at that.
I was.
Okay.
You got some good options.
All right.
Still with it.
Bartz versus Locke. This is rough.
I'm going to have to go with Locke.
I'm going to have to go with Locke as well. And it's mostly out of a technicality because Bartz is only the super beefcake Bartz in the animated version and not in the Final Fantasy V game.
True.
So I'm going to go ahead and go with Locke.
All right, Locke, you move on to the next round. Goodbye, FF5 contestant.
Okay.
All right, so now we got the third round, or the fourth round.
No Zach, huh?
No, I didn't put Zach in. I'm just doing main series.
All right.
FF7 contestants are Cloud, Barrett, Red 13, Sid, and Vincent.
I think Red 13 is taken out mostly because that would constitute us supporting bestiality in some way, some weird, backwards way. And I'm going to go ahead and say that Red 13 is eliminated.
All right, that's okay because Red 13 was the joke option, so I'm willing to part with him. You know what? This is where it gets tough, though. I mean, Sid is kind of an older guy. He's a little bit over the hill. I feel like the way he talks to people is going to make it hard for him to appeal to a younger audience. He's not the Robert Downey Jr. kind of old guy, bad boy. He's like the fucking
he's a saint.
Woody Harrelson kind of bad guy, older guy, and that's not something that I see.
Woody Harrelson would be a perfect casting for Sid. Holy shit.
He would. But I don't see that as being a pinup guy. I'm a big pinup Woody Harrelson.
We got dark, brooding, almost Jack Bauer-like character in Vincent.
Yeah. He does have a lot of baggage, though. He's got all that Lucrezia shit behind him.
And it's not like Locke baggage. It's different.
Yeah, it's deep.
It's more depressing.
Plus, the guy is ancient, so...
Yeah. And then Barrett...
He's kind of an asshole. Like I think Barrett's one of my favorite characters in the series.
Okay.
But he's not the brightest, and he's kind of a dick. I don't think he would pull... And the machine arm. I mean, I can think of some great things to do with that machine arm that would make the ladies love Barrett.
Okay.
Like a drink mixer and, you know, a back you could put all sorts of attachments on that thing.
Okay.
What the fuck are you going with that? But I'm going to have to take Barrett off. You cool with that?
I'm going to take Vincent off.
Alright, Vincent off.
I think Vincent's, I think he's past his prime and he's way too depressing.
I agree.
So Cloud is also depressing, but, I mean, Cloud's ripped, Cloud's young.
Yeah.
He's hot.
That's right.
Cloud. I think Cloud is the winner for FF7.
I second that.
Bad choices. But are the choices worse in Final Fantasy VIII?
Well,
as far as looks goes, I actually think Final Fantasy VIII has like a step up from FF7. All the characters.
There's some rugged looking bastards in 7.
I'm gonna go ahead. Cypher is one of the nominations, as well as Laguna, Irvine, Zell. Jesus, Zell is off the list, and Squall. Zell is
eliminated.
Fucking spaz. So I'm gonna go ahead and eliminate that Zell.
I'm cool with that. I didn't want to put on there.
Okay, all right. So now
we got the brooding emo guy with the weird jacket. We've got Irvine, the southern dude. I don't know where I was gonna go with that.
You know, he sets himself up as a ladies' man. He's also extremely good looking. I think he may be in the closet. personally. But, I guess no one else sees him choke out. I guess the chicks don't see him not be able to shoot the sorceress.
No, that's true. That's true. They never see it.
So although, it's going to be one of those situations where, you're a guy and you know that guy is a complete douchebag.
But no one believes you.
The women don't, They don't believe you.
That sucks. I hate those situations.
It happens a lot, actually.
That is true, yeah.
Yeah, think about it. You're like, as a guy, you know that another guy is a piece of shit.
But not everybody knows.
Not everybody knows.
Yeah. Well, I would say Laguna's also past his prime in the game. Plus, he's kind of an idiot. I am amazed that he was able to...
Yeah, Laguna's kind of a moron. I'm going to go ahead and get Laguna out of there.
Alright, so now it's just down to Squall, Irvine, and Seifer. Ooh.
Squall is too broody. I think at 14, Squall could get laid, but I don't think at 18, Squall could get laid.
You don't think so?
No.
Alright,
As much as Quistis was like...
Quistis was begging for the Squall.
I don't know. And besides the fact that, that style of his, that emo style, it's gonna go out.
Oh, yeah. And he's gonna not go out with it. He's gonna stick.
No, he's gonna stick. He's totally at, 40 years old. He's gonna be the guy still with the same hairstyle, wearing the same jacket, everything.
That damn jacket. Alright, so Squall we can eliminate. I'm cool with that. Now it's starting to get a little tough. I mean, we have the ladies' man, Irvine. And then we have Seifer, who is actually a ladies' man. And didn't choke. He did lose, in the end, of course, to us.
I think Seifer might have some underlying anger problems. So, although he might get the chick, he's looking for the chick that is submissive and that he might emotionally abuse.
Okay.
That's what I see Seifer. I think he's too emotionally unstable. And I think Irvine is definitely the better choice, but would you know that going in?
Oh, man, I don't know. Renoa definitely didn't. Of course, she didn't know Irvine, so... But she was down with both the Squall and the Seifer.
I think Irvine's more playful. I think he'll be funner to be around.
Alright. I'm
gonna go with Irvine on this one. I mean, it's hard. It's definitely a hard choice.
You know what? I agree. Okay. I don't think Seifer has quite the strengths that Irvine does.
Okay.
He's going out. Alright, so now we have the final showdown between Irvine and Cloudo.
I am going to go ahead and say Cloud is too mopey and Irvine is just a load of fun.
Okay.
And also, he isn't old enough that the ponytail is a bad thing. I think he might be able to get away with it.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, I was thinking
he also doesn't have to make up for a small penis with a giant sword.
True.
So, I think some people will be able to see through that.
Perhaps, yeah. You know what? I was going to say Cloud initially, just because I think he's a much better character than Irvine by, miles and miles. But there are some good points there, and Irvine isn't trying to live vicariously or have someone else's live vicariously through theirs and taking on their memories. He doesn't have that kind of baggage. Sure, he chokes under pressure, and he might last about 5 seconds per time. But you know what? You improve. You get better.
Okay.
You move on. I don't think Cloud is ever going to really get rid of everything that he's experienced. I mean, sure, he can move past a lot of it. The Aerith stuff, personally, I think he's moved beyond. But the psychological damage that went on with all of his upbringing and, his best friend dying in front of him and to save his life, I think that's going to create a certain sort of environment that I wouldn't want to be in if I were choosing one of these two. So I will go on and I will accept Irvine as our winner.
All right.
Moving on.
You don't have to flip a coin.
No.
Okay.
All right, so now we're moving on to FF9, Zidane, Vivi, Steiner, Amaranth, and Cinna. Cinna is the guy in the play that's wearing the pot. He's the fat guy.
I was like, what the fuck is Cinna?
So Cinna was the joke. He's out.
Jesus Christ.
I'm not even going to acknowledge that one. Amaranth, I would say, is probably the second one to go out. I mean, he has those dreads, and honestly...
I would actually say Vivi.
What?
Because it's a child, and also
It's a doll.
it's not human.
All right, fine. I'm saying he can give himself whatever he wants.
All right.
All right, I'm gonna say Amaranth's
You're
going
saying
out too.
Amaranth's gonna go.
Yeah, he's got those dreads. They're disgusting, man. Like when I look at Korn, I think like how
The
long
band.
has it been?
The band.
Yes, the
Make
band.
that clear.
The band Korn. I look at them and their dreadlocks, and it's just gross to me. I'm like, what the? How long has it been since you washed your fucking hair, man? Like, and when I look at Amaranth, it's the same thing. He's this monk dude that just. I don't know how often he showers.
I don't think white guys should have dreads.
That's fair.
I don't think it works.
I don't know. Would you defend Amaranth, though? I mean, it is between Amaranth, Steiner, and Zidane right now. I'm not going to put Kuja in this fucking list. I will
Oh
not.
my, no, fucking no.
If we were doing ambiguous pinup, then sure. It would be him versus Quinniquen.
Zidane is a little teenage boy for me, but
Yeah.
I don't know. There might be like a Justin Bieber aspect to him that some women will like. Steiner, I thought Steiner was kind of old and fat, and so I would actually eliminate Steiner before
Okay.
Amaranth. But I think between Amaranth and Zidane, I think Zidane is the unfortunate clear winner.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, Amaranth doesn't put up much of a fight, honestly. He's, like I said, he's kind of gross. Everyone else in 9 is weird. The art style took it in a weird way to where, you're right, Steiner is kind of a fat old man who's definitely over the hill and rolling down the hill at a very rapid pace. And, I don't know, he does get the ultimate woman in the game, though. I will give him that. So he's got something going on. But this isn't a Beatrix pinup contest. This is the Ultima Final Fantasy pinup contest.
It's okay.
Final Fantasy X. Titus. Orin. Kamari. Waka. and Seymour.
No! Just get Seymour the fuck out of there.
Antler Man down.
Antler Man with like the open.
Yeah, he's like, look at everything.
Yes.
Nothing to the imagination.
Also Kimari, because Kimari.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's really between Waka, Oron, and Titus. Now Waka obviously has a good. I don't know. Like he's Fuck! What? I'm losing words because of this music. Lulu is awesome.
Yes.
And Waka's had enough clout in order to get with soccer balls.
This music is phenomenal. This.
Titus, I don't know, man. I don't know. Between these three, I guess I would eliminate Waka because he's kind of...
Isn't that disturbing that we're going to eliminate Waka before Orin, who is dead?
I think Oron might be the winner.
I think he would score. I really do. I think he's everything that Cyan can't be. He is the ultimate badass.
Okay. First off, he's got a full head of hair.
He does. We can see
he
that.
holds his liquor well.
Yeah.
He's very cool.
He gets
under
more.
pressure.
He gets more smooth the more he drinks.
He does. And he is based upon Toshiro Mifune,
Who is
an ultimate ladies' man in,
Yeah.
in Japan in the 1950s.
Oh yeah, that
So-
guy is a fucking. He's awesome. So.
So I'm going to go ahead and say, simply based upon the fact that Oron is so close to Mifune, I'm going to go ahead and say Oron actually wins over Titus. That and Titus's voice in both versions is obnoxiously high and annoying.
Is it a little much for you? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, it's a little much for me, personally. I would not like to share a bed with... Ah!
Oh yeah, can you imagine the sound he would make at the end? Oh god. Horrifying. Alright, I'm gonna agree with you there. I'm gonna say Orin wins.
Oron is our winner. I'm sure he's like ripped and awesome looking as well.
Yeah, I don't doubt that at all. So now it comes down between Zidane and Orin.
Oh, you mean it comes down to Oron?
Yes.
Because Zidane has just nothing.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
we're
He's too young looking.
It's true. Alright, man, so now let's get into the fun ones. We got Final Fantasy XI. The contestants are El Husk, New Boreas, the Krinital, and the Bandrum.
Okay, first off, Bandrum is a Galka.
Yeah.
I think Bandrum's out.
Sorry, man.
We're gonna be specious here.
That's right. You made this. You chose this.
Now Krinital's interesting, but Krinital's sense of fashion, I don't really care for it that much.
Yeah.
He's always wearing like the fisherman cap, whatever the fuck he's got on his head.
Yeah, that's true. It's like one of those things that.
I know we all have like the same face in the game, so it's like,
yeah.
It's really down to what we wear.
It's true.
And I think Nuborius is the clear winner with FF11.
You think so?
Yeah, I think Nuborius is the best dressed.
I don't know.
I think the warrior character of Elhusk, I think Elhusk is a little bit, I don't know, I would say. His pants are a little too tight and his midriff is showing just a little too much.
That was a phase.
That was a phase, huh?
The phase is done now, but the problem with me now is I'm covered head to toe in plate mail, so you can't actually see me, and it looks awesome. It's impressive. It's like the valiant knight storming, the castle of the enemies to rescue the princess. But you don't really see much of me, and I don't really fit in as a normal dude.
Okay.
I'll go with, I'll accept the Nuborius.
You'll accept Nuborius. No,
yeah.
Nuborius is the sexiest character in Final Fantasy XI.
I am swimming in my own ball sweat in Final Fantasy XI, I am sure. It is hot as fuck in that game. Alright, so we got the Final Fantasy XII contestants. We have Bosch.
Oh, yeah.
Balthier.
Oh, yeah.
Rex. The Dead Man. Redis. And Vaughn. I'm going to eliminate...
I think you can eliminate Vaughn, Redis, and Rex.
What?
In one go. I'm sorry. I just don't...
Alright.
I think you might have to... Did you just restart the thing? Because... Alright, let it go.
It's just different music. This is a Ron Jeremy soundtrack.
Okay.
Moving on.
Alright.
So it's really between Bosch and Balthier. This is tough.
This is tough. I don't know. I think Balthier is definitely more of the ladies' man. He's got a lot of confidence that Bosch does not necessarily have.
Yeah, and I think it's more because Bosch is after different things in life. Like, Balthier is definitely more for the ladies, and Bosch is more for his honor and reclaiming what was lost.
Which will be sexy to some people.
Yeah.
But I think, for the sake of this, I think it's Balthier, personality-wise, and,
Yeah, I'm going to agree. I think Bosch is my preferred character. Yeah, but that's not what we're doing here.
I think he would be a better husband.
Yeah, probably. Balthier would be, like, sleeping around with all the,
there you go.
the rabbit women. He's not going to be faithful to Fran. I just know it. Alright, so now we have the FF11 character Nuborius versus the FF12 character Balthier.
I'll see. It's
Balthier.
It's Balthier.
Yeah, I mean, you guy is kind of a mute. It makes it tough. Alright, so Final Fantasy XIII contestants. Snow, Saz, Hope, and Bartandalus.
No! I think Bartandalus is the clear winner.
Obviously, that guy could rule the world. I'm gonna get rid of Bartandalus and Hope, I think. Because Hope can't win.
Okay.
So really, it's between Saz and Snow.
Saz is just too old.
Yeah, this one's really easy.
And Snow is ripped as fuck.
It's true. And
as annoying as he is.
It's true. He does get better throughout the game, I would say. But there is still a certain sense of animosity I felt towards him.
Okay.
I will allow him to move on to the next round, though. FF14, we have Elhusk and Nuborius Caesar.
I'll give it to Elhusk. I think he's got the better wardrobe.
You think so, with my black mage garb?
I do. Elhusk, I think, at 14 is better.
That's true. You're kind of wearing like a dress half the time. You got your robe thing, and it looks odd.
White robe.
Yeah.
Ladies.
And
it's probably not that white with all the running around.
Probably not. It's probably disgusting.
Yeah.
Alright, so Final Fantasy 15. I know we haven't played it, but we do have pictures, plenty of info, plenty of ideas on these 4 main characters. I could put King Regis in there, but we would just erase him immediately.
No, because he's Sean Bean, so...
All right, King Regis.
I would actually say King Regis has a shot. Okay, I'll start with eliminations here. I think Prompto is... What the fuck is that?
I don't know.
Okay.
Fucking commentary track.
I think Prompto is too annoying.
I agree. He's going to be the annoying blonde character in the game. I would never put him in. Now is where it gets kind of tough. Because Gladiolus is a little older.
Gladiolus is older.
But he's suave.
Oh, yeah, he is. And he's also... He knows how to wear leather.
He does. And he's actually kind of an awesome character so far in everything we've seen.
So far, in the animated stuff we've seen, yeah. And he can do push-ups while also...
Handstand push-ups.
Handstand push-ups.
So he's a freak.
Yeah.
We have... I feel like he's a safe bet.
And he also wears a suit really well.
True. You know what? Ignis, whatever.
Yeah, but Ignis is pretty... well...
He does have the British accent.
He's kind of a pretty boy, Ignis. Not that they're not all pretty boys. Ignis... I don't know. I think Ignis is pretty sexy as well. He also cooks.
Yeah, that's a big hit with the ladies.
Yeah. He's not that macho, though. Like, Gladiolus is way more masculine, I would say.
Yeah. You know what? It's tough between these.
It's got to be a balance between prettiness and masculinity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, that makes it tough.
But Gladiolus can clean up and wear a suit and look awesome. And then he can be a biker and look awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about Noctis?
No, I think Noctis is eliminated.
I think so too, but he isn't a bad character. He's just... I think his office makes it difficult for him, so I don't think he would really go after it too much. He could abuse it, but I don't think he's the kind of guy that would. So.
I think he would marry out of political ties.
Yeah.
Because he has to.
And he would be loyal.
Yeah.
Because his father is Sean Bean.
Yeah. So now I think it's really between...
Ignis and
Gladiolus, as much as King Regis would be awesome.
Yeah,
you know what? It's the handstand push-ups. I'm gonna go ahead with Gladiolus.
I'm gonna second that. I can't deny the guy. He is a little bit older, but you know what? He's probably in his prime right now. Everyone else is just pre-prime.
So Gladiolus versus El Husk.
I'm gonna say Gladiolus.
Gladiolus.
My guy, there was a phase where I had to wear these like pantaloon-looking things, and I looked like I belonged in a fucking circus. And I can't choose myself after that.
Alright, so Gladiolus and LS can be taken away.
Alright, so
completely.
Now, phase 2, we have Furion versus Kane, the FF2 and FF4 final contestants.
Okay. And then our next ones are Locke versus Irvine, Oron versus Balthier, and Snow versus Gladiolus.
Shit. Alright, Furion and Kane.
Ooh, see, Furion is young, he's virile. Kane is older. He's also always wearing his crazy armor.
Yeah, his Dragoon stuff. That'll cut you up, man. Cut you to ribbons.
Furion has the orphan story he could use. He's saved the world before.
Yeah, and Kane's probably still
kind of
crushed over Rosa.
Yeah,
you know?
Kane's kind of a loser sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and my vote is with Furion.
That's tough for me, because I love Kane as a character. But, since we're not doing spin-offs, I can second that, because Kane gets way more awesome in the after years, I would say.
Alright.
So we're going to let Furion move on to the next round. Now we have Final Fantasy VI's Locke and Final Fantasy VIII's Irvine.
Listen, someone's gonna find out that Irvine's gonna blow his load early, or that he just can't do. I just can't. I've never had this much pressure put upon me before.
Okay.
And I think Locke, I think he's got more experience. I think he's got way more confidence. I think Irvine fakes a lot of his confidence.
And Locke's is genuine.
Yeah, and it's Ponytail versus Headband.
Headband
wins.
Headband does win.
I'm gonna go ahead and say Locke with those.
I second that. I second that so fucking hard. Okay, now we have Final Fantasy X's Auron versus Final Fantasy XII's Balthier.
Now,
this is sick.
This is when the age actually becomes an issue.
Yeah,
They're
and
both-
the fact that he's
They're
dead.
both very confident. One of them's more of an extrovert. One of them's more of an introvert, definitely. They're both very good looking, and they're both in amazing shape, I'm sure.
Yeah. I'd say Oren's probably in better shape. Except for the fact that he's dead. Like, if he weren't dead, he would be in better shape.
I'm actually gonna go with. I think the personality is gonna win out, and I think Oran is gonna be eliminated just by a small margin.
I was thinking the same thing. Balthier just has what it takes to be the pinup. Oren, a little over the hill, just a little too dead to be the pinup guy. I mean, Balthier just has it all. He's smooth. He's got the age. He's got the women. Oren does not have the women. So, I mean, that speaks volumes.
All right, so now it's between Snow and Gladiolus. Now, just remember that when Snow asked a woman to marry him, he was still wearing the ski cap and the trench coat with the open chest.
Yes, Snow is one of those guys that wears those 50-50 hats that I want to knock off people's fucking heads because they look so dumb. And he's also still got the fucking sticker on there. And you know what? When he's at a baseball game, he's got it turned backwards and he's shielding his fucking eyes with his hand and not his hat!
Snow is also kind of a dumb blonde, and Gladiolus, that we've seen so far, is not a dumb person.
No.
And he is probably equally fit as Snow, given his ability to defy gravity.
Yeah. Snow is huge, but
Snow is huge.
Gladiolus is probably pretty strong. Like, he's not as bulky.
He's also got a lot of experience.
Yeah, he can be
got,
more versatile.
He's got like 10 years on Snow, if not more. But yeah. I think Gladiolus is clearly the winner between those two.
I agree. I think Snow
is
eliminated.
If I were to fuck one of them, I would prefer it to be Gladiolus.
Wow.
All right. Oh, man. We're getting into the finals, dude.
Oh, man. This is tough. Final Fantasy II's Furion versus Final Fantasy VI's Locke. Actually, this isn't that tough for me. I'm going to go ahead and say Locke. I feel like Locke is more confident than Furion.
I agree. And Locke has more experience. I think they're both pretty confident, but, you know, Furion, the seducing thing, I don't know. Yeah, I think Furion's also got the young age is against, they're both young characters, but...
Locke seems to be more of an experienced individual.
So. Yeah.
In life.
Definitely. I'm going to go ahead and say with Locke. I'm going to agree with you wholeheartedly. Locke.
Okay.
It's clearly that bracket's winner. So now it's between Balthier and a radio announcer in the background.
Yes. Hate this track. I just want porn music, not other stuff. Okay, so we have, Final Fantasy XII's Balthier and Gladiolus from Final Fantasy 15. Does the age cut Gladiolus out of it?
Gladiolus, well, Balthier is definitely a ladies' man. Like, he lives for that.
He does.
So I think that there's something to be said about that. He's also a bad boy. He's a sky pirate. He's a fucking pirate. Which can go either way, I think, with women. They might be like, ooh, put off by the pirate, or they might be really attracted to the pirate.
Yeah.
It just depends on whether or not their father was around while they were growing up.
Well, all the rabbit women definitely know.
Caleb Craig thought that was funny. I saw him chuckling over there. Yeah, the rabbit women. He might have some weird
fetishes
going on, but then again, they might not know that until they're like in.
Well, I mean, I imagine them as sort of the like the forest sylphs or nymphs. I can't remember which one it is in fantasy. They're the ones that like seduce men.
They're nymphs.
Nymphs, yeah. That to breed with them so they can continue because they're all female. That's what that is. And if he can do what he does with all of them, I think Balthier wins this. I think Balthier takes Gladiolus down.
Oh, but Gladiolus in a suit.
Yeah, Gladiolus in a suit is good. Shut the fuck up.
Use a different track. Don't worry about it. We're almost done here. It'll be done. Just go back. Thank you.
Who are you going to choose?
Fuck. I was actually going to go with Gladiolus.
Were you really?
We're going to have to flip a coin on this one.
You got a coin?
No.
Oh, man, flipping a coin. How unprofessional is this?
I'm sorry, man. Neither of us agree. I think Gladiolus is clearly, if I were to fuck one, it would be Gladiolus.
Okay, so you want the manly man and not the...
Well, no, they're both manly men. I think one is clearly more masculine than the other. That's true.
Yeah.
But also, it's bad boy versus good boy. And I think in the long term, good boy is going to win out. And they're both insanely ripped and both insanely handsome. So what do I like? I don't know, man. Who do I want to be more as well? It would be Gladiolus.
Yeah, I suppose if I were to choose which one I would want to be, it would be Gladiolus. I can let Balthier fall off.
It's a tough one, though.
It is. I think Balthier would have beaten Locke. And because of that, I think Gladiolus is our
Okay, so we...
This is the final round. That's my vote.
All right. Well,
going straight into it.
Gladiolus versus Locke. Now, I mean, we could be, like, turned around completely by what happens in Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah.
Not necessarily in Brotherhood / what else we've seen in the game. But,
Is this like little porn going on in the background? I think it was. Okay, but never mind. Moving on.
Yeah, at this point, it's headband versus leather jacket.
Yeah. I think leather jacket and tattoos always have a place. Headband.
I think Gladiolus is perfect because he looks like a bad boy sometimes. But he's not.
So he's your little ball of clay. If you want him to look nice, clean up, he will. If you want him to look like a rugged motherfucker, he will.
Yeah.
If you want to see him do handstand push-ups, he will.
It's true. That's true.
You cool with that?
I think Gladiolus is our winner.
All right. The Ultima Final Fantasy Pinup Contest number 2, Bro Hour.
So, really, we need a calendar that's for 6 months out of the year is Quistis, and for the other 6 months out of the year is Gladiolus.
Yeah, we should come up with that. We need some original artwork, or else we're screwed, but we could do it. Get some seductive photos of both, and we will make this work.
Some surprises on this one, we'll say. Some surprises.
Yeah, I didn't think Gladiolus would have that much holding power. But thinking about it, I don't know. There's not a lot of competition. Like there is to some extent, but there's not a even balance except for with this guy. Everyone else kind of has one or the other. They're smooth, but they're not super ripped, or they're not cleaned up. Or
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you agree with our list, let us know. If you disagree with who we chose, also let us know. Yes. Who do you think belongs as the Ultima Final Fantasy?
I'm Captain Bosch von Rotzenberger.
I had him on there for a second, and I was like, nah. No, he's not going to win.
All right, Schweiss. We got some questions?
We do.
Let's get to it. Hey. Yeah. You're not sure. Let's skip the other segments. We'll run it long.
Yeah.
That was 46 minutes. And then we had the intro. So we can just do questions.
No questions from you? Yeah. So, level scaling. First question from our listeners, from Taku Amazuki. Would you guys ever want to see the scaling process like they did in FF8 and future titles, as a way to keep things from getting too easy? Obviously, now I think they would balance out the scaling to be fair and not game-breaking. I wouldn't mind a light touch of this, but I wouldn't want to be punished for the time I spent farming an item or just mindlessly grinding. Thoughts?
They sort of did it with 13. It's not quite the same, but they knew how much experience you were going to have by a certain point in 13. And they had it kind of timed out almost. And they also had blocks in your way.
Yeah, they were timed to caps.
They capped it so that it would have a consistent difficulty as you went along.
Yeah, I would say that's the opposite of what they did in 8. In 13 they sort of regulated it to the way to
Well,
where
it's still
you
regulation
couldn't.
though, because 8 was regulation as well. Because 8's regulation is you level up, the other guys level up too.
Right, but in 13,
Which is so fucking stupid.
it kind of is. But honestly, I think you could probably still get through the game. I don't know. I don't know if I want to see that necessarily. I feel like I'd be more comfortable with something like the Final Fantasy 13 system, where you can only get to a certain spot in a certain position of the story, because then you're not super grinding your way through it. You still get to experience it as a difficult game instead of just going around grinding out a ton of time on super low level enemies and blowing through the game. Now, it is fun to find these game breaking glitches like the trick in Final Fantasy 12 farming. Oh, what was that guy's name? I can't remember, but you could use the Phoenix down on him and it would kill him, and you zone, and he comes in there and you can kill him again, and you get the XP, and it's thousands of XP, and you can get yourself up to like level 30, and then go get Fran and Balthier at level 30 when you're normally level 7 to 10, something like that. And the game's just a cakewalk from then on.
I'm sure.
That would be fun, and I tried, but I couldn't. But I don't think I would want to see a scaling quite the same way they did in FF8.
No, but I did just come up with something. I came up with a new system.
Okay.
Instead of doing what they did with 8, just the longer you take to get from the next thing, like it's however many hours you've had in the game, your enemies are also leveling up. And so the faster you get to an area, the weaker the enemies will be.
Okay.
And also the weaker you will be. But at the same time, if you decide to take 200 hours before you go to the final boss, that boss will get harder and harder as the time goes up.
Sounds like Oblivion.
Is that how it works?
Kinda, yeah. When the main story, there are Oblivion portals to hell, basically, and I was going to go close one, but I got caught up in the hundreds of hours of optional content and leveled up like crazy. I was like level 30 something, I think. And I went back and finally did this town mission where I'm supposed to free the town of Kvatch. And instead of having these little scamp enemies here and there, it was like dinosaurs and elementals, and it was sick. It was like the most difficult mission I'd ever done.
So based upon how much you did in the game, it would scale?
Yeah, based on how much I would be leveling, and like
I think that actually might be a good system. It's
Dude,
how much you're doing.
I would agree, except the fact that I had to become a drug addict to beat the area. Like, I had to drink this alcohol called skooma like a fiend, and my intelligence, it tears your mind apart.
In real life or in the game?
Well, both. But in the game, your character's intelligence is one of the stats, and I think my guy had like 4. It was like 4 intelligence, like 160 strength, something like that. It was like he was messed up because of this. So that is kind of a cool concept, though, and that way you're kind of pushed to do the main story, and it's not get lost in side quests forever.
All right, what did the others say?
Shinru says, didn't like that feature, hope they never bring it back. Only for bosses, I guess it's an okay feature. In FF7, you are max level and go fight Sephiroth. You will fight a higher, more difficult version of him. So stuff like that I'm okay with, but not random enemies.
Yeah, but it doesn't just scale in 8, it like multiplies. Because when the enemies level up higher, their stats are even better than what your stat increases are.
Yeah.
So a 99 level Ultimacia is so much worse than if you're at 99 than if Ultimacia's at 50 and you're also at 50.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
It is. It's crazy. Batman2J says, the scaling feature in FF8 helped alleviate the grinding for levels aspect of the game. When I play FF, I personally like to get way too overpowered and destroy everyone I want. I know it takes the challenge out of the game, but to me the challenge is to see how badass I can get. I hope they don't bring it back and find other ways to make games scale to how the developers want, similar to the sphere grid in Final Fantasy X, where the key spheres or simply no ability sphere drops prevent you from advancing too far on the grid.
There's that 10 pretending it's not a hallway again. So Final Fantasy 8, I don't... Oh man, it's so bad. I actually think the Final Fantasy 5 version of all this problem is the best, or Final Fantasy 9.
Yeah.
Where the game is perfectly playable and beatable, and then the final boss is sick.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, well, you could have been doing this better this whole time, but instead you waited. I don't know, like, there's something about that I think is, I think there's something about making the final boss just way bigger than anything you would expect.
Yeah, it is. It is one thing that I am okay with. I'm okay with that being crazy instead of the whole game.
Yeah.
So that's a good point. All right, so we have another one here from Nox at 988, titled "Dungeon Additions to Remakes." As many of you are aware, games like FF1, 2, and 4 have been remade several times. Others, such as 5 and 6, have been ported to the Game Boy Advance and recently remade for iOS and Android devices. In many of these cases, developers add additional dungeons with super bosses, better gear, or fan service content. Do you like these additional dungeons, or would you prefer that they simply updated the game without them? I personally don't like most of the additional dungeons that have been added. I recently played through FF4 the Complete Edition on the PSP and found the additional content much less fun than the original game content. I'm currently playing through FF1 Dawn of Souls, and the extra dungeons are much worse than the in-game content. I haven't played the FF5 or 6 extras, but I expect much of the same at this point. I suppose I don't have a problem with the extra stuff. You do need an extra reason to buy the game, but it seems like the additions are half-assed attempts to make the game more appealing. Instead, they create the contrived areas that rarely fit the feel of the game. I was curious if you guys felt the same.
I haven't done any of the extra dungeons in the newer versions. There was one available in FF3 that I did not try. Did you?
I did a couple dungeons in FF3. I'm not sure if it was one of the ones that was exclusive to...
No, after you beat the game, there's a dungeon that gets opened up, I think.
I don't know.
Yeah, and it's the same thing happens. FF2 actually had a whole storyline after the end of the game, and
yeah,
I can't remember which version it was, but we didn't do those because we felt like we had beat the game, and that's extra stuff. And if we want to do extra stuff, we do it. But there's no, I don't think, necessary need to. I actually disagree. I think that's an added bonus to the game. Like, if you're a real big fan of FF4,
yeah,
and they decided to add an extra dungeon in a new release, and you were like, oh, fuck yes, another reason to play FF4, I think that's actually a good thing. Besides the fact that they're probably going to update the graphics and make it more playable and all that other shit.
Right.
My personal reasons for buying a new version of a certain game are because, okay, I want to play this game. This system is kind of my go-to system right now, and thus I will get it on this system now instead of getting out the old.
So would you pick up FF7's remake for PS4 if it was on sale? It was like $10.
If I were employed, yes.
Okay. I've been enjoying it, and it's not because they're extra content. It's because I can do ×3 speed and tear through the game.
I would do it because if I decided I wanted to play FF7 right now, I would definitely buy it on PS4.
With the ×3.
Because it has nothing to do with the ×3. It has to do with its availability on the PS4.
Okay.
And the PS4 is what's hooked up to my TV right now.
Yeah, that's
and
fair.
It's the easiest thing to switch to. And so $10 is not that big of a thing to get that.
All right.
I think that's all right.
It looks like the listeners, for the most part, love extra dungeons. They're big fans of them. And yeah, we haven't really done a bunch ourselves, so it's kind of a up in the air subject. But the ones that I have done, it's been fine. It wasn't some sort of mega thing that made me inspired by the game or changed my opinion of the game. It was just, oh cool, there's more content, so we went with it.
All right, Schweiss. Before we wrap up this episode, do we have any iTunes reviews?
Oh, you know what? We do. Thank God.
iTunes reviews. iTunes reviews.
Yes, we have a 5-star review here
Oh, thank God.
from Canada.
Oh!
It's titled Let's Mosey by Stephen R.C.
You get your Canadian terms out of here. All right.
I'm so glad I found this entertaining.
What?
Informative. I can't do it. I want to do the Fargo, but I can't. It sounds Irish.
It
I
does.
can't. I'm so glad I found this entertaining, informative podcast.
Oh, yeah, the Canadian.
He's an Irish Canadian. Joe and Caleb are passionate, thoughtful, and funny. The mood is relaxed and welcoming, as if chatting with old friends. Ultima Final Fantasy has quickly become my favorite podcast, and I look forward to each new episode.
Eh?
A. Yeah, add the A and you're safe. That's all it takes.
Oh, I'm glad it's become your favorite podcast. I appreciate that.
Yes, we love it. Thank you
Yes,
so much
and
for
thank
your
you for
reviews.
sending us a review, our dear Canadian listener.
Yes, you're Irish, of course. You want to read this next one here? Can you?
Yeah, you want to knock my camera over?
I do.
Okay. It says, good podcast, good host. 4-star review by Stud5541. These hosts aren't necessarily the prototypical introverted gamer type. They seem very extroverted and the type of guys you want to talk Final Fantasy with, and then go get blacked out with at the bar. Schweiss,
I would be down.
I think he's mostly talking about you.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got the hiccups. They seem like they have fun with the show sometimes, and it's very interactive with the fans/listeners. Oh, I'm glad he knows the fans/listeners argument.
Yeah.
It seems like there's because we had this discussion on Nude Clan, and some people might have seen it in the forums, but it's about whether or not we should call our listeners fans or if we should call them listeners. And when we started this podcast, you used to call them fans, and then I got on you about it because I was like, dude, they're listeners. They're not necessarily fans of
But
us.
now we know there are.
That there were people on the forum who claimed that they were in fact fans and not just listeners.
Yes.
So I appreciate that. And if you're a listener, that's fine too.
Yeah. It's whatever.
If you want to listen to the guys go in depth with the series and not bore you to tears, listen to these guys.
All right, we have another one here from America. Great podcast from Bryant Roberts on September 6th, 2016. Great Final Fantasy podcast that deals with the main series, spin-offs, and other Final Fantasy-related media.
Thank you very much
Yes.
for your 5-star review, and thank you, Stud, for your 4-star review.
Yeah, we appreciate it a lot, guys. It helps us more than you could possibly know.
All right. So our last thing, Schweiss,
Yes.
before we say goodbye, we got a question from us to you.
Do we? Do we really?
Yes.
Thought we were gonna do it! Yes. A few weeks ago, I asked what child character from the series annoys you the least. Here are the answers. Shinru says, Vivi. Not one thing you can hate about Vivi. He is one awesome kid. Krele. At first, I thought no one could replace my man Galoof, but she joined up and is pretty cool and is smart and not just some dumb kid. Plus, the fact that she looks up to Galoof makes her a cool kid in his book.
Only Final Fantasy V characters are kids. So.
Yeah, Rydia, even though she's only a
Except for
child
Galoof.
for a small part of the game, Rydia is pretty awesome. Aiko in Final Fantasy IX, I find her kind of funny, like an actual little girl would be. Plus, she has a sad, dark backstory that takes you by surprise when you understand why she tries to act so happy and carefree all the time.
I kind of hated the 40 minutes that we had to deal with Aiko cooking and shit. So
Yeah.
yeah,
All right.
favorite.
All right, so Felicia No Miko says, Rydia was indeed far less annoying than the newer ones. Of the 3D games, Yuffie is the least annoying. It feels like each new young character gets more annoying as we go. Maybe my tolerance for such crap has thinned as I get older, but gods, the mood swings are so wild and erratic that I just can't even. I have to wonder how much of this is cultural and perhaps a symbolic archetype that doesn't have an analog in Western mythos. I definitely notice that it is a far more prevalent character type in Japanese games and anime than in Western games. Even Lollipop Chainsaw, great game by the way, which has the cheerleader archetype as the main character, has the titular FMC acting more her own age than her Japanese game counterpart. Looking at Japanese character types, the stupid, bouncy chipper kid is just one of an array of character types.
That's
Annoying
also
as
a
balls.
real type of person I hate.
Yes. No, yeah, I hate them in real life too. Annoying as balls to be sure, but at least it's not every character.
Alright. So, Fat Chocobo says, I would say Larsa, but I haven't finished 12 yet, and I don't want to jinx myself. Although he's naive, he doesn't come off as overly bubbly and innocent like most of the kids in the series. Instead, his childish idealism is challenged by various events of the game, such as the death of his father, crossing my fingers that I don't regret these words later. Otherwise, probably Vivi. I know Yuffie's personality is pretty annoying, but I enjoy the side quests in Mutai when she steals your materia and gets kidnapped by Don Corneo.
Fair enough. Gabrant says, Hope from FF13. Just kidding, I'm out of my motherfucking mind. Love the game, but no way. He would agree and go with Rydia. A lot of the others are annoying or, well, just kids, and when we first meet Rydia, she's a beastly little thing that wants vengeance for killing her mother's dragon. Others, just to mention, Larsa was great and quite the diplomat. I always liked Gao. He reminded me of a human Taz when I was younger. And I don't really mind Vaughn, although I'm in agreement that Bosch should have been the main character.
Caleb Craig says, Pinello, far more likable than Van and quite the beast with a katana.
She is good with the katana, but I still hate her character. Doesn't need to be. Corey says Gao from FF6. His scenes were funny. He wasn't really involved in the story, so he didn't take away from the game like other child characters have. I am sort of sensitive to stories about kids with douchebag dads. Gao's dad was a huge douchebag. I also liked the relationship he formed with Cyan. I was asked about the age cap, and ages below 13, Stola said FF3, Alice, Rester, Rydia, Palin, Porum, Krele, Realm, Mog, Gao, Vivi, Eco, and Larsa.
You know, I don't like Gao. I really don't. He's kind of a throwaway character in 6, and also he's Gollum from The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. So
yeah,
I don't know.
I wasn't too into Gao either. I thought he was kind of dumb. If we're looking at ages below 18, starting from 3, Lunith, Ark, Refia,
most of the main characters.
Ignis, yeah, Seraph, Arya, Bennett, Yuffie, Squall, Renoa, Selphie, Irvine, Zell, Zidane, Garnet, Titus, Yuna, Riku, Vaughn, Pinello, Rex, blah, blah, blah. Out of all of them, he thinks Vivi hands down. He's probably the best written character in the main installments. Monologue he gives at the ending was probably the most emotional he's ever gotten with an FF.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Schweiss, I think that's going to be it for our episode today. Our question from us to you this week, do you have one?
No.
I got one otherwise.
Go for it.
My question from us to you, ladies and gentlemen, is because we just finally finished our pinup series, unless we want to go into androgynous / non-human character pinup, which now that I said it might have to be a thing.
Yeah.
Who of all Final Fantasy characters are the sexiest woman, sexiest man, and sexiest beast / bonus character in the series? Who would be your choice pinup?
Okay, sweet.
Okay. Well, make sure you guys check us out at youtube.com/UltimaFinalFantasy, Facebook.com/UltimaFinalFantasy, Twitch.tv/UltimaFinalFantasy. You can tweet me at Joseph DeGolier.
Me at UFF Podcast.
You can go to Patreon.com and just search Ultima Final Fantasy and support the show. If you give us $1 a month, you can get the episodes as soon as we're done mixing them. And other ways to support the show, you can go to our website, UltimaFinalFantasy.com, click through our Amazon banner, and just use Amazon like you do normally, and we get a small kickback.
We also want to thank a new patron from this week, Vincent. Thank you so much for your contributions to our show, and we look forward to having you eventually on the show.
Oh, we're going to have him? Oh, on the show.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Yes, thank you very much, Vincent, and to all of our Patreon donors. This show is made possible by you guys, our costs. How much do we spend? I think with the website and everything, I think we're spending, I want to say like $100, something like that.
Yeah?
Yeah, like we're spending a lot more money on the show than we used to.
Yeah,
That's
but
for
it's
sure.
better.
But I think it shows. And last but not least, call us at 385-204-3921, 385-204-3921. This was a good episode, Schweiss.
Yes, it was.
We'll see you guys next week.
Until then, enjoy the pin-up grind.
This has been another production of Ultima Final Fantasy, the Ultimate Final Fantasy Podcast. The show was produced by Joseph DeGolier and Caleb Schweiss, with music and editing by Joseph DeGolier, parodies and clips from their respective authors, of course, You can get all of our episodes as well as our Let's Plays at ultimafinalfantasy.com. You can also contact us on Twitter at UFF Podcast, as well as our contact page on our website. Be sure to subscribe and review our podcast. Your reviews may get read on the show, and look forward to the next episode of Ultima Final Fantasy, the ultimate Final Fantasy podcast.
Yes. Doesn't matter.
Oh, it's right over there. But we don't have a cord for it.
Yeah, we're fine. It's not for the episode. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out. We will see you again in 1 week's time. Furry pinup would be fun. I think that's kind of what we're going for.
Furry pinup? Now it has to be called that? Ugh!
Well, FF9 is going to just have a full roster.
I don't want to do that one. God damn it.
That's a great suggestion, Stolas. And we look forward to your Gladiolus pick that you said you'd send us. We'll see you guys again next week.